everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all of their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian.
And boy, do we have a sick episode for y'all today. We teased it on our last episode, if you heard that, which I got to talk about a little bit. I got to talk about the lore behind that episode before we get into things. But we have an interview today. Hooray. Everyone give a round of applause because we don't do interviews all that often here. Hooray.
We've added another friend of the show.
A new friend of the show. Thank God. I feel bad, though. We didn't bestow upon him the official title of friend of the show.
We're going to bestow it upon him right now.
Yes.
He is new friend of the show.
He's officially a friend of the show.
First past David and Brian for not doing it then, but we're here righting our wrongs right now before you even know what the fuck we're talking about.
I know. I hope he ends up listening.
Ahead of this.
I hope he ends up listening to this to when it comes out.
He probably will.
I hope so. Yeah.
Maybe.
But anyways, yes, we got on New York Times bestselling author, creator of the Nemesis saga, the Chess Team series, the Infinite Timeline, and God knows how many other. He has so many goddamn books, my friend. Jeremy Robinson. Holy shit. I can't even tell you. Well, he's not here right now. He was here with us like a week ago.
Yeah.
But he was here, and he will be here I don't know, in like 20 minutes whenever we finish up all the news and stuff. Who knows? But yes, It was a really, really fun thing. We'll talk a little bit more about it afterwards, give our thoughts about it. But it was really cool, and we hope you guys really enjoy that. But I gotta give a shout out real quick to Union Square Donuts in Assembly Row in Somerville, Massachusetts. They saved the show. They saved Talking Toku. Because let me tell y'all. So last week we had an episode. We reviewed The 100, new Thai horror film from The Beast Below director Chalit Kriladmongkon and Pakphum Wongjinda. And I thought it was a very, very good episode. We enjoyed the movie quite a lot, and we had a lot of fun talking about it on the show. But tragedy struck the day after we recorded when I went to go edit the episode. I had lost the micro SD card that I record on. So I thought, well, I dropped my wallet this morning when I was getting coffee before work. Let me call them and see if they found anything. Called him in there, and I'm like, hey, I know this is kind of a weird question and a long shot, because if you guys have never seen a micro SD card, they're like the size of a fingernail. If not smaller, they're really, really tiny. So I'm like, yeah, if just out of curiosity, have you guys found a micro SD card? And they're like, no, sorry. I'm like, damn it. So I assumed like it got swept up or kicked outside or something like that. I was fully anticipating that episode never seeing the light of day, and I was really upset about it too. It ruined my whole day. It really, really did.
Ruined my day too until a couple hours later.
I know, a couple hours later, I'm like in the middle of eating dinner, and I get a phone call, and they're like, "Hey, it's Union Square Donuts in Assembly Square. We found your micro SD card." And I literally jump up in the middle of eating dinner, mind you, and just take off right. Like I get in the car and go right back down to assembly, and I'm like, thank you so much. You guys are fucking lifesavers. It was insane. But
so my question to you, Dave, is: are we gonna make Union Square Donuts collectively a friend of the show?
We could. They did do quite a lot for the show, I feel.
Yeah,
we can even
make like a chat or a voice channel room in the thing that we're going to talk about at the end of this episode. New handle to reach us by.
Oh my god, we could. You know what? When I go in on Thursday, when I go to work on Thursday, because I'm off the next 2 days. When I go on Thursday and I get a coffee, they won't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I'll be like, hey. You guys are friend of the show now, and I'll walk out like, without providing any context. Can I speak to your manager?
Can what Union Square Donuts or whatever? Can they be our first sponsor?
Oh my god, that'd be sick. Oh, we can have a talking Toku donut, Brian.
Yeah, we could.
What should that be?
It would be whatever they had on hand because of how spontaneous we are.
You know what? That's good. That's not bad. But they have a lot, man. They have a lot of donut flavors, and they're good too. What would be fitting for like kaiju?
Dude, I don't know. Something green.
Something green. I don't know. Not mint. Mint doesn't. I like mint, but mint doesn't feel kaiju enough.
Something green and blue.
Green and blue. I don't know. I'm blanking, man. I'm tired. I just recorded an hour and a half episode of Doritos Connections and Mountain Dew talking about all the animated Resident Evil movies. So I'm a little out of sorts right now. Oh, I mean, it was fun because we got to make fun of them all because they're mostly not good, but it's okay.
No. I'm gonna go watch them all now, though.
Oh god, good luck. I mean, some of them are fun, like funny, stupid, but others are just like really, really not good.
Really fucking bad.
Not just bad, just boring, just like dreadfully boring.
That's pretty bad to me.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But yeah, so again, thank you, Union Square Donuts. You're a lifesaver. Our review of the 100 would not have seen the light of day if not for you. So thank you.
A 100 review brought to you by Union Square Donuts.
I should have put that in the description of the episode. I still could. I can edit the description if need be. So I might do that just for shits and giggles. But all right. Now that that's out of the way, I think it's time we get on with the news, because we actually have news for once, because we didn't have a whole lot of news last week. So Brian, do you want to start us off here? Tell us what's going on in the realm of kaiju news.
I absolutely can do that. Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex Studio Gemstone has released a trailer for a follow-up short film for this year's Godzilla Day festivities. This wasn't expected at all, but it's certainly a pleasant surprise, especially given that it's following last year's short in celebrating the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Megalon, which, hey, about time Megalon gets some more love. Hopefully this short stays online like G versus GR did, or Gigan vs. Gigan Rex did, because we're excited for it. Yeah, I saw the teaser for it, and it looks fucking great.
I know.
Megalon looks awesome.
He does. I'm so excited. And like I've never like had a love for Megalon like I do for like Gigan, but like damn, he looks really good in that short. I'm really excited to see what they do with it, cuz like with Gigan Rex, specifically Gigan Rex himself had some crazy shit going on. So yeah. I'm very interested to see what they do with Megalon, cuz like we already saw Megalon flying, and Megalon never flew in Godzilla vs. Megalon, did he?
I don't remember. It's been a very long time since I've watched Godzilla vs.
He hopped a lot, but I don't remember if we ever actually saw him fly.
I don't know. I'd have to. 50th anniversary. I'll have to watch it. I know. So we'll see.
I'm bringing up the Wikizilla page for Megalon. Let's see. Abilities. I don't see flight here. Or miscellaneous, maybe? Nope. Physical abilities.
I guess he got an upgrade then.
Yeah, no, I don't think we've seen him like fly. Oh, yeah. No. why would you word it like that? Abilities. It just says movement.
Okay.
It doesn't say flight. It
Cool.
just says movement. Okay.
One of my abilities is movement too.
I guess that means you can fly, Brian.
I guess so.
At Mach 3 even. That's pretty impressive. I didn't know you could do that, Brian.
It is kind of funny though. Last year, or not last year, it was probably like way earlier this year. Ghost X Ghost showed off their design for their upcoming T-shirts for the 50th anniversary, and their Megalon one was really cool.
Was it?
And I was like, hold on a minute, Megalon is kind of awesome.
No, Megalon's great. Like the design-wise, he's so cool.
I just feel like he's kind of one of those monsters that just doesn't really like. Not a lot of people think about him because he's only shown up once.
Yeah, so. He's only shown up movie-wise in Godzilla vs. Megalon. He was in Godzilla Island, but like that was never available in the States until very, very recently. Same with Godzilla. Yeah. So
was he in any of the games?
He was in all the games. Yeah, well, all the Pipeworks games.
I don't remember if he was in the PS4 one. Was he?
I don't think he was. No, I think he was probably part of the Kaiju Guide, but like everyone was part of the Kaiju Guide in that game.
True.
But yeah, he was in the Pipeworks trilogy. I know that much.
Well, hopefully he kind of gets a second awakening in the fandom.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So I'd love to see what they could do with him.
That's happened with a couple monsters now.
Yeah, I mean he's been in like a bunch of the IDW comics. Like he's had a big part in those. So you know, similar to like Varan, he's kind of a cult classic. I think especially because of that, like the design is like really, really iconic. It's just he just hasn't had as much love as like something like Gigan, which is weird because like Gigan's only appeared in 2 films versus Megalon's 1, so it's not even that much different. But yeah. Oh well.
True. I'm excited though. I'm ready for it.
Me too.
Give me that sweet kaiju goodness, please.
Please give me the big bug man. Also, I just want to point out, because I'm still on the abilities thing. So his like horn laser is apparently officially called the Beast Killer Light Ray, and that's just metal as fuck.
That is metal as fuck. I like
love that. It's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Holy shit.
All right, moving on. We have a new trailer for Kaiju number 8, as well as a release date, or more of a window, really. April of next year, 2024, it'll be releasing. It looks really fucking cool, guys. Like, way better than I could have hoped for. I really need to catch up on reading the manga in case this series, like the anime, goes past what I've read. How far am I? I think I've read the first 3 volumes out of the 6 that are out, so I can catch up really easily. But yeah, it looks really, really cool. And hey, it's 2D, and everything's 2D. The monsters are 2D. For once, a kaiju anime where they have the kaiju rendered in 2D animation, so they don't look like absolute crap. Thank God.
Yep. It's very nice.
Jesus. I don't know why it took us this long to get to this point, but here we are.
You know what I just realized, though?
What?
Is that Gamera Rebirth has kind of ruined that 3D style of animation, because now that is the bar for it to look good.
It is. It does kind of. But you know what? And I think I talked about this last week. I have been watching season 3 of Ultraman on Netflix.
So I'm talking about the monster specifically, not the...
Yeah.
We've already been over that, but yeah.
The animation in Ultraman season 3 has been like surprisingly good. Like it's not
I didn't tell you. I started watching it.
Oh, you started? Okay, we'll talk. So we'll talk about it later on in the show then.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of shocked by how much the animation has improved in that series. But
huge agree.
Yeah. But yeah, Kaiju number 8 looks sick. I can't wait. We are definitely 100% doing an episode on that. There's no way we won't.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, another trailer that we also got is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. which is weird because it feels like the first trailer just came out. But I guess the series premieres in less than a month, so sure. But it looks pretty rad. Still looking like more of an espionage slash conspiracy story than a full on kaiju brawl, which we are all about here. Yeah, I want more of a person focused story.
Yeah.
So
Which it looks
the trailer
like
definitely gave me that vibe.
Yeah. I do gotta say, and this is I was definitely laughing at it, not with it, because there's no way they wanted this to be like a tongue-in-cheek thing. But near the end of the trailer, I'm forgetting the character's name, but it's Curtin Wyatt Russell's character. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna need some help," and that's when the trailer shows off Godzilla. It's like, that's so stupid, but I love it.
That is pretty stupid.
But yeah, no, it looks really, really cool. It looks like really expensive. Like the CG, the effects work looks really, really good.
It's on Apple TV Plus, so they probably got a.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just spoiled because like I don't watch a lot of TV, and the most recent TV show new TV show I watched was Ahsoka, and that looked like crap. So like I'm not used to like TV shows looking good. So I don't know. But you know what? It's Godzilla, and I'm happy that they're putting that much care into making it look good, because my boy deserves it. That's what I say.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to use a good amount of like reused footage from G 2014?
I don't know, because like we've seen some footage in both trailers of like the events of G 2014, but like it seems from it's all from like a different perspective. So they might not reuse any footage. They might just have shot a bunch of new stuff like from different perspectives, which would be really cool. I love seeing stuff like that.
Well, also remember, like in terms of cost, I mean, they do have just in-house. They just have a really high detailed model of Godzilla.
That is true. Actually, I'm curious if we know who is doing the effects work, like whether or not it's Weta again, because I know Weta is doing so Weta did Godzilla vs. Kong, and I know they're doing Godzilla X Kong as well. I'm curious as to whether or not they're doing.
You forgot the most important name of that title, Dave. The most important.
Oh, you're right. Godzilla X Kong, the New Monkey. Sorry.
There you go.
I don't see it anywhere here. We might not be able to know until the show actually comes out.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet it's Weta, because it does look real good.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I would put money on it. It's the most logical answer for that.
That's funny. The Wikizilla still has it listed in their sidebar as Hourglass, which was the working title.
That's interesting.
Let's see. Yeah, maybe Wikizilla has the effects studio, or not. Never mind. They got a visual effects supervisor, but I don't think that really helps me. Doesn't give me a whole lot of information. But I can look him up, see if he works for Weta. Sean Conrad. Oh, well, he was a visual effects. He did visual effects on Godzilla 2014. So, and King of the Monsters. So he is familiar with our boy.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Well,
regardless, it's going to look good, and I hope it is actually just good in general. So
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on, we have our last news story, but it's a pretty big one. We have huge news regarding Giga Bash. We all thought the Godzilla expansion was it, but we fucking told you that Passion Republic was putting out feelers for what people wanted to see in terms of other, kaiju collaborations, and here we are. November 8th, we are getting an official Ultraman pack, which is sick. We have no word on who's going to be showing up. In the pantheon of Ultraman characters in kaiju, you could have literally anyone, and it would be a great pick. I think the safest bets are something like Ultraman, Gomora, Red King, and maybe Ultra 7, if not another kaiju. But again, we're down for whatever. I think we've talked a lot about Ultraman Blazer on here. I think Blazer would be super sick just because it's like the newest thing. And I think
Blazer would be really cool, just like fucking like melee focus.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I feel like Blazer is more likely than we think, because think about it. Like, when the Godzilla pack was announced, everyone assumed it was going to be Godzilla, Ghidorah, Mothra, Rodan. And then it wasn't. It was Godzilla, Gigan, Destroyer, and Kiryu, which people like thought about Mechagodzilla, but I don't think people were expecting Kiryu to be the Mechagodzilla they went for. So
yeah, for real. I was very surprised when it turned out to be Kiryu.
Yeah. So I think we could be in for anything for Ultraman. I think like the original Ultraman is like a sure thing, but besides him, I have no idea. I have no idea who could be in there.
It would be really funny if they did not have the original
If
Ultraman.
they didn't have the original Ultraman, I'd want Ultra 7. Ultra 7 or Ace, because those are like, for me personally, those are like the two. More so Ace, because like he's got a more unique fighting style than the rest of the show Ultra. But like honestly, like again, any of them would be good. Literally any of the Ultras would be good. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
What if they put Trigger in there?
Oh my god. I don't know if I'd buy it if Trigger was in there. Hold on, Brian. All right. How about this? It's Trigger and 3 different Spherosaurus.
Oh my god. let's go.
That's what the pack's gonna be.
I'm pretty sure that would put them under.
It probably would.
I don't think anyone's buying that.
I would not buy that. No.
Yeah, but jokes aside, I'm fucking psyched about this.
Yeah,
Giga Bash. Giga Bash is a very fun game. I hope that this brings up its player numbers.
Yeah, same. And it's crossplay now, so you can play it on whatever. You can play it on Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, PC, and we can all play together. Won't that be fun? All right.
It's actually another little thing that like isn't really new, but we didn't ever talk about it. But I did mention that I've been playing a lot of the Dawn of the Monsters though, and I tried the DLC character.
Oh, that's right. I have not touched the DLC yet for that game.
It is basically a Megazord.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty weird.
Okay.
But I like its powers. Its abilities are cool.
Okay. I'll definitely give it a shot at some point then, because I still gotta finish the game. I haven't finished it yet.
I finished all the game. I finished like all the big missions. I'm now on like the challenge missions now.
Okay.
They added an arcade mode that is really hard.
Oh, really? I know they added I know that was part of the big DLC update.
Like Kaylin and I, when we were playing it a few weekends ago, we had like maxed out characters.
Oh my god.
We got our asses kicked.
Jesus.
It is really challenging. There's a lot of enemies on screen, and like you basically. Oh, actually, no. I realized why. It's because you don't take anything with you. You start from scratch.
Oh.
Like in terms of upgrades and stuff, and you pick it. You can either get it through like a predetermined like skill tree thing, or you get them randomly and you pick in a set of 3.
Interesting.
It's pretty hardcore. Definitely for gamers only.
For gamers.
Oh, also Another thing that we actually found out because we were trying to play with more people is that the game is actually only 2 player.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
I had no idea. I thought it was 4 player, but um, we looked into why, and I guess there was just too much going on at one time on screen for
That's
4
fair. That's
players.
fair. I don't blame them.
Yeah. I mean, with how far forward the camera is, I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like if they brought the camera back a bit, they could do it, but then it would make it harder to see.
Right.
So, but I mean, other than that, like it's a very good content drop, especially for like $10.
Oh
It's
wow,
very
that's
worth it.
really cheap actually. Damn.
Yeah, yeah,
All
pretty
right.
good.
All right. All right. Well, that's it for all the news and fun stuff. So we're gonna pass it back to past Brian and David, and we're gonna talk to Mr. Jeremy Robinson. So I hope y'all enjoy that interview because we definitely did. All right. We'll
Yeah.
talk to you more in a bit. All right. Enjoy. Hello, people from the past or future, whichever time you are listening to this. You already heard us talk about what we're talking about today. So here we are, our main topic. We are interviewing New York Times bestselling author, creator of the Nemesis Saga chess team series, and so many other things, Jeremy Robinson. Jeremy, it is lovely to have you here. How are you?
I am thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. So I have been told by you and many other people that you have a new book coming out. Is that true?
That is always true. I always have a new book coming out. But this one that we're talking about is Nemesis, which is based on Project Nemesis, a series that I had done prior. But this is a lot of people call it a reboot, but I don't say that's accurate. I think it's more. It takes place in a parallel universe to the other Nemesis story. So this one, it kind of takes a look at Project Nemesis if a few small things had been changed at the very beginning of the story, and it takes place 13 years later.
Mm. And actually, I'll just get right into this first question. You mentioned alternate universes, and I've mentioned this on the show before because we have a segment at the end where we just talk about what new kaiju thing we've been checking out. And I've said the term Robinson-verse on the show
Yes.
multiple times, but I haven't really gone in and explained what that is. So if you want to real quick explain to the people who don't
Sure.
know what the Robinson-verse is and like why you decided to link a lot of your work all into one vast big multiverse.
Yeah, because I'm a sadomasochist. So the Robinson verse, the simplest explanation is that it is a multiple dimensions of reality that exist inside of my brain. And there's actually a book where one of the characters kind of experiences. So yeah, there are several official like timelines of multiple books that cross over together, but then everything else is kind of loosely connected, and then there's one character who can bounce back and forth between all these different timelines. So he shows up in a bunch of different series. In every like major event, he's there. So it's very similar to like what you might see in like Marvel Comics. I grew up reading comic books, so I think that's probably where that came from. Just massive crossovers is how I'm wired to write things. I don't do it on purpose. It just kind of happens.
That's the best way to do it,
expanded
though. Yeah.
universes are like they're like the big thing now. Like everyone wants one, and
Yeah.
right, they're pretty cool. So
Yeah, it's funny because mine it starts out kind of normal. I think most of my novels start out normal and then get extremely weird by the end. But then that also happened with the series, so that by the end of the series, it's I don't even know how to describe how strange.
So like the book itself went up to 11 by the end, but by the end of the series it had gone like 11 to the power of 4 or something.
Just absolutely bonkers. It's hard to explain without spoiling. But yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, and
which is fun.
Yeah, and we'll try and our best to be light on spoilers. Obviously, the book's not even out yet, so we don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't read it yet, of course. But I do have, I think I have a couple of questions in here that are like mild to light spoilers, nothing like really in depth. But all right, so I'll just get into like the real meat, the meaty questions now. So you've kind of made a name for yourself writing I think you coined the term kaiju thrillers. Between the Nemesis saga and other kind of standalone novels like Chronos and Apocalypse Machine. So what made you want to revisit Nemesis, 6 years after the initial end of the saga with Project Legion? Why not a brand new kaiju story?
Well, I have done a bunch of different kaiju stories. You mentioned 2 of them, and then The Divide and Unity and Tether. So I'm always kind of like delving into other kaijus, but none have kind of like resonated as much as Nemesis. So like from a career perspective, that was kind of like the obvious choice. Also, in regard to that, there's a TV series in the works for Project Nemesis. So when that comes out, it's nice to have new Nemesis material, not just for fans, but also as potential material or IP for Sony to use for other projects. I kind of see the new Nemesis novel as like, a possible story for like an anime movie. That's what I would love to see happen. But who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to incorporate it in.
I have never. This is the first Nemesis book I've read.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know any other stuff about like the other universe. So like,
right,
like Dave knows about it, but like I don't know what sets this universe apart from like the other one. So
right,
like, would you mind going into that a little bit for other people who don't know?
Well, that's actually cool that you have read this one but not the others, because I really wanted to write this one in a way that it wasn't required to read the original, because I know this is, we're going on 10 years now from the original, so this is like for a whole new audience. The differences, I don't know how many I can say without spoiling it.
Gotcha.
So I mean, the anyone who's read the originals will know the differences just from reading the description. This takes place 13 years after her emergence, and it kind of explores what the world would be like if there was a goddess of vengeance going after, all the horrible people in the world, and how we might cope, with this giant monster that will flatten everyone in her way just to get one bad dude. So it's kind of like a very dark world that comes up with this, kind of a good solution of offering the worst people as sacrifices on these altars. And I think all that's in the description, so hopefully no spoilers there. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting and dark look at what, that kind of world would be like, where something is killing everyone who did something bad.
I mean, I really dug the whole idea of it. Like, just the world just completely changes into like this nearly utopian society, squeezing out all the bad people just for survival's sake.
Yep.
And I thought that the like that whole idea and concept is just like super cool to me. And I'm excited for other people to like it. It would be like crazy hard, like looking at it through a lens of like real life, like society all agreeing to do that now. That seems like impossible to me.
Yeah, and I think it would take several destroyed cities and millions dead for people to be like, maybe we should do something about this, and we know that she's just doing this to kill the bad guys, so let's just give them to her.
Yeah,
cut out the middleman.
Yeah. Maybe the bad people are a little bit too much trouble for their worth.
Yeah.
Well, I think that answers my question. I fully plan on going back and reading the other books, but as Dave knows, I'm horrible with doing things in a timely manner. So we'll see when I get
This is very true. This is very true.
It's taken me a year and a half to watch almost all the Gamera movies.
And there's only 12 of them, Brian. Come on. You
And
still
there's
got
so
one more,
much
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I have a really hard time with keeping up with stuff too because I'm making so much. Then if it's not, a major US release or something, it kind of just sneaks right past me.
Yeah.
I still have to watch the Netflix Gamera.
It's pretty solid.
Ooh.
We just did an episode about it, I think, 2 weeks ago, Brian?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. It ain't no Gamera 3, obviously, but it's
No.
still pretty solid. But,
Cool. Yeah, it hasn't. For some reason, it hasn't popped up on my Netflix homepage to remind me.
Oh, that's
I'm
surprising.
not sure why.
It was up on the front page for like a little while, but I don't know.
I still
I
get
don't know if that's the same for everybody or not.
Netflix still suggests to me like the Godzilla Polygon trilogy and Singular Point all the time. Like, hey, have you watched
me
these?
too.
Have you watched these? It's like, yes, multiple times. I get it. All right. Well, moving on. So an important thing for both me and Brian, like we talk about it to death here on the show, is for kaiju media to be able to tell a good story first and then work on the action second. It's something that can be really hard to find a balance for in a lot of things, but I feel like you've actually done like a spectacular job in doing that in previous novels and this one as well. And this is going to very mild spoilers here, but we don't get a whole lot of action from Nemesis until maybe about a third of the way through the book. It's almost compared to how she was in the original Project Nemesis saga, where she's like very much a big part of the story, and she is her own character. She doesn't really feel as much like a character here in this novel. Was that approach kind of like intentional, like making it more about the characters who live in a world of monsters rather than about the monster itself?
Yeah, I mean, it was inadvertent, but that's basically what it became was, more character driven, exploring the world and how it changed because of Nemesis. So in that way, it's not really an origin story like the first one was. So it's not following Nemesis every step of the way, because she's kind of like established in this world rather than emerging. So yeah, that's when your explanation ends in a brain fart.
Happens to us all the time. Don't worry.
Happens to me a lot.
Yeah. It happens to me when I'm writing, and you can tell when you're reading something back, and you're like, "What happened here?" It's like a sentence that just.
That's what
off.
editors are for.
In the past, Matt Frank collaborated with you to design many of the kaiju in the series, including Nemesis herself. Was he brought in at all to help work out the look with the Goliaths?
No, not with the Goliaths. So with the Goliaths, they are originally from my novel, The Divide. That's like their first appearance, and I included them in this novel simply because someone on Facebook was discussing Nemesis, and someone chimed in with, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if Nemesis fought the Goliath?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that would be cool."
That would be cool. Let me write a whole book on it.
I really dug the Goliaths. I love like the whole everything with them. So
yeah, they're nasty.
Yeah, they're disgusting, and the way that you like described them in detail, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in.
Yeah, and it is in The Divide as well. Which if you like the Goliath, then you'll really like that one. They're so gross in that. But yeah, so Matt helped with Nemesis, and Matt is contributing art of Nemesis for this book, kind of like the retooled.
Oh hell yeah!
The skinnier, more agile Nemesis. So he's working on that right now. Actually, I just got the first sketch yesterday.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. But the Goliath were already established, and Nemesis's new look was, just making her a little more flexible and sneaky and spooky, rather than big and clunky.
Yeah. It definitely seemed like you gave her a bunch of new like abilities and like looks. I won't go too into spoilers because like it happens like near the end of the book, some of that stuff. But she
I was
obviously
probably watching an anime when I wrote that part. I think I was watching Chainsaw Man.
I mean, I was gonna say that like like reading about like how like fast she is and like like able to like do crazy maneuvers and dodge and stuff. I was like, this doesn't really strike me as like a conventional kaiju kind of thing. Like, well, like a
Yeah.
lot of kaiju are just big and lumbering.
Right.
Some of them are fast, but like not too fast. But like this, like seems like she's like just like insanely quick, and it's much more unique than other takes on big monsters I've seen.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I try and do every time I write a kaiju story, is to do something really weird and different, like the novel Tether, which didn't take off like Nemesis, but I still love the kaiju in it because they are ghosts. They're kaiju ghosts, and it's really freak. It's kind of like Poltergeist, but kaiju.
That sounds hilarious. I might read that.
And I'm not reading this right now for Halloween. What am I doing here?
And it also takes place in Boston.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, I like destroying Boston. That's fun.
Yeah.
Boston doesn't get destroyed a lot.
Nope.
It's an underutilized city, and it probably should be because it's an absolute horror to get around.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know. It needs to be destroyed so that they can just like plan the roads this time.
I know Dave's heard me say this, and I've said it a billion times, but to me, how they planned out the Boston streets is they had a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs, and they threw it, and then however it landed is exactly how they planned the roads out.
Yep. I mean, that's basically it. The streets in Boston were created originally by like wagon tracks going between farms. It was just totally random roads, through trees and swamps.
Ugh.
And they never decided to get ahead of the curve and just redo it before the world modernized.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Dang.
Just a mess.
Could be so much better. But actually, speaking of Boston getting destroyed, you've never shied away from making references to other kaiju movies in your novels. But in the climax of this one, Spider describes a scene from, quote, a movie made a few years back that featured a big explosive kaiju that unleashed a nuclear-like blast over the city. So I know in the past I've called out feels kind of mean, but I feel like you've sort of called out Michael Dougherty and Legendary Pictures for the climax of Godzilla King of the Monsters taking place in Boston.
Maybe.
Something that Project Nemesis did a number of years earlier. Was this kind of your way of poking fun at them in this novel?
It is. I got so many emails in the wake of that movie that it was really aggravating. And when I was really looking forward to that movie, and then as soon as they said like Boston, I was like, please don't explode in Boston. Please don't explode in Boston. And then it happens. And I was just like, oh, come on, guys. Like Boston was my city. I claimed this. Yeah. So I was disappointed in that, and then, got tons of emails. So I figured I would address it.
This would all come full circle if Michael Dougherty directed a Nemesis movie.
I would not say no.
I mean, it would be hard to say no to. It's a big name. So
it is, but so is Chad Stahelski, who is helming the Project Nemesis TV series. I don't know exactly how much you can talk about that.
Yeah. So there is some stuff that is public knowledge. So Chad is the director who's kind of putting it all together, and he'll direct like the first few episodes. And he is partnered with Original Film, who's done tons of huge movies. They've done all the Fast and Furious and a bunch of other like massive franchise movies, and TV series. I think they do The Boys actually.
Oh, okay.
And then Sony is kind of like financing, and that's where what I can say stops.
Okay.
So I mean, all of those people and places are like A-list amazing creative places, with really good track records. And if you take John Wick and then add kaiju to it, That's basically, I think, what we're going to be looking at with Project Nemesis.
And I mean that there's
I am
not a
here
single
for it.
thing about that sounds bad. Like there's no way
Yeah.
that could possibly be bad. That sounds amazing. But so as I understand it though, it was like a multi-year process to even get that off the ground in the first place.
Yeah.
So how did
it's
that even
been a
happen
while.
at all?
It was kind of like one of those surreal moments. I was just, sitting and working, and then I got an email that said, "Hi, I'm Chad Stahelski's assistant. Can he give you a call?" And I was like, "Yes." And this was just after the first John Wick.
Oh,
So
wow, so
he
this was
wasn't,
early.
super well known.
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
Yep. And so yeah, we talked on the phone like the following day. He kind of like laid out his vision, and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then it's been forever. It's it was like a couple of years, and then original film came on board, and then it was a couple of years, and then Sony came on board, and Sony took like a year and a half to figure out the contract, and so the whole process has just been like really slow. I'm kind of hoping that in the next year things will be a lot quicker. But it's Hollywood, so you never know.
Yeah. Especially with all the strikes
Especially
going
with
on
all
too.
the
Yeah.
exactly what I was gonna say. I believe the Actors Guild's still on strike, so
Yes, but that won't stop development now, at least.
nah.
Development was stopped and did slow things down for the show.
Well,
I think I can say.
well, hopefully, well, yeah, the writer's strike is done. The writers are back, so hopefully things on Project Nemesis will be back to going at full speed. 'Cause
I mean, the best news is that there is news I can't say.
okay.
Oh hell yeah!
I'll take it.
I will also take it.
All right. Still on Boston, because again, we're 50% based in Boston. So obviously the original Nemesis saga kind of became a globe-trotting adventure right from book 2 on.
Yep.
But this one, we're right back to where it all began in New England. Was there a reason for that you wanted to set it back in New England again, or just why not?
Well, one reason that I do feature a lot of books in New England is just because I live here.
Yeah.
And it makes it more fun for me. It makes things go quicker because I don't have to do research or as much research. Especially with the Nemesis books being, located in places that I've been many times. It just makes it a much more fun experience, and I do enjoy destroying places I've been and that I love. I get less joy out of destroying places that I've never been.
It's not as cathartic,
Yeah. And I do also enjoy writing characters with Boston accent.
It is very distinguishable. It's once you hear it, you're like, I know where that's from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had something I was going to add on to that, but I forgot it. Oh well. That also happens all the time. Don't worry. But adding on to the accent thing, I'm currently reading The Lock by Steve Alton, so it's set in Scotland, and he phonetically wrote a lot of the Scottish accents, so it's a little tough to parse out what is being said sometimes. But
yeah, Scottish is, I mean, that's how Scottish is. It's definitely harder to read it. I wonder what the audiobook.
Oh, I don't know. That might be the better way to do it. I think I mentioned that to Brian the other day. Like, audiobook might be the way to go on this one. Moving on. Brian has a very, very important question for you, Jeremy. It's something we ask everyone on here. It is
tradition.
It's tradition.
Okay.
It's the biggest question that we ask everyone on here. Brian, take it away.
So I hope you're ready for it.
I might be.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Oh hell yeah!
Wow, that was like you were ready for that
You
one.
were ready. Did the questions relate to you?
I've got my stuffed Triceratops from when I was like 8 years old in my office.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess I can make another question, and that's just, what is your favorite kaiju that you haven't made?
Right.
That's not Nemesis.
Yeah, it's actually Gamera. It's some people feel aghast that it's not Godzilla, but yeah, I like Gamera.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
just
Gamera,
the look
Gamera's
and the
awesome.
feel, and yeah, just that Gamera feels like more of a character, and
Mm.
Godzilla is kind of like a force of nature.
Yeah.
So I really like Gamera's style.
Yeah, they've definitely
Right.
like been more consistent with his characterization over the years than they have with Godzilla, who's like
Yeah.
always a different thing in almost every movie. So
Yep.
it's definitely nice for the consistency.
Even when it's the same universe, like the Godzilla in the American movies seems to always be changing a bit.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be taking
Yeah.
place in the same universe.
It's weird how we went from like the protector of mankind and King of the Monsters to just like, I am an animal who will hunt and kill you if you are anywhere in the ocean.
Yeah.
Or if you have a weird technology that makes a weird noise, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's got
All right.
personality disorder.
Damn, that was the fastest anyone has ever thought about what their favorite dinosaur is.
I know.
That's
You-
because I have a favorite. I don't
Yeah, I
have
know.
that.
Well, people usually have
feel
to
like
like take a second to think
time-
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But Dave, has yours changed?
No, mine is still the Carnotaurus.
All right. Mine's still the Spinosaurus, specifically from Jurassic Park 3.
There we go. See, we're all on the same page here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back on Godzilla for a moment. So you have actually had the honor of working with Godzilla on the Godzilla Rage Across Time series from IDW. I believe you wrote the first issue.
Yep, I did.
So yeah, what was it like working with Godzilla right off the top of your head? And then also, like, do you see yourself working on comics in the future? Because obviously you've done that before. You've done the Project Nemesis adaptation, and there was also an Island 731 adaptation that I believe was never finished.
Correct. The publisher ended up going out of business, which is unfortunate. But I mean, Island 731 is technically book 0 of Nemesis. So we should see some of that in the TV series.
Ooh,
well.
that would be very cool.
Yeah. And that's also kind of a messed up dark novel.
It is. It's one of my favorites, though.
Cool.
Is that the one that you recommended me
Yes,
read?
it is.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And now I have no idea what the question was.
No worries. So what was it like
Comic
to
books.
work on Godzilla, and do you see yourself like dipping your toe back into the world of comic books in the future?
Yeah. Working on Godzilla was pretty like intimidating at first, and kind of just like surreal. Because it's always been, I didn't create it, and it's a separate thing from me. And I've only written on things that weren't mine a few times. I did like a Predator story for anthology, but working on Godzilla, it was just kind of mind blowing, and it was kind of funny because I had to come up with a pitch for this story of Godzilla taking back in the past. And then it turned out that IDW was already putting together a Rage Across Time, so we gave them like a modified version of my idea, and that's what ended up becoming the first issue.
That's such a weird coincidence. Like you were already working on the exact same thing.
Yeah, it was totally weird. I think people like it. I haven't been asked to write anything else for them.
Well, they were on hiatus with Godzilla for a while, but they've started.
That's right.
Working on them again in the past 2 years or so.
Yeah. And as far as future comics, I'm actually working on 3 right now.
Oh wow!
That I am not actively looking for a publisher, but we're getting to the point where we'll be looking for publishers. The first is called 1001 Saves the World, which is like 4-issue graphic novel, post-apocalyptic, really, really weird, out there kind of a story. And then the other one is called Tichka, which is Russian for little bird, and that follows some urban explorers who break into the old Soviet cosmodrome where they are keeping the old shuttles. And it's kind of like a disturbing horror story, also 4 issues.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, and then so the art for both of those is, I think we're on issue 3 for both of them. So I'm gonna completely fund and complete both graphic novels before looking for a place. And if that doesn't work out, then we'll just do Kickstarter. But it'll, a different kind of Kickstarter because they're already funded and done. And then the third one, which we're gonna get going soon, the script is already done. It is called, what the heck did I call it? It's called the Excommunicated, which is about a demon that's been kicked out of hell and a nun who's been excommunicated, and they are working together to uncover this nefarious deal between hell and the Vatican.
That sounds really. That almost sounds like.
That sounds like Good Omens, kind of a little bit. Same kind of flavor.
I haven't read Good Omens, so
yeah,
I'll take your word on that one. But
I haven't either.
I haven't. I watched the show.
Well, I haven't watched the show either.
The show is very, very fun.
That almost seems like, just based on the concept, it feels like a good pitch for like a video game. Have you ever like considered
It does.
doing any writing for video games?
I would love to, but every time I have looked into how to even get into that, I just hit brick walls. Like there's nothing on game makers' websites about that kind of thing, and so I have no idea how people get in with that. I'm assuming that the people who make the games just have favorite writers and they contact them or something.
That's fair.
I think you just kind of have to know people in the video game industry.
Yeah. So
it's not like where you can just apply for it, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, if Nemesis takes off on TV, then maybe we'll get a video game that I can write for, which would be cool. Sony makes video games.
They do.
They make very good video games.
Yeah. So ideally that will happen.
I would play a Nemesis video game, and I'm sure we would review it on here.
We probably would.
Yeah. We don't. There's not really a whole lot of kaiju video games.
We're getting there slowly but surely. There's more and more coming out. I mean, we have that Kong one that comes out, I think, this month. I don't remember exactly when.
I think the mistake that kaiju video games make is that you're just playing as the kaiju and you're just fighting. Where, like with a kaiju novel, ideally, or a kaiju movie, you're following human characters as well. So it would be cool to fight as the kaiju, but it would also be cool to have like a story with humans in it. And I really love the idea of a human playing in a level, where there's a kaiju approaching and you can see it coming, and then there's like buildings being destroyed around you, things like that. It would just be a cool experience to play as the human in that world rather than just as the kaiju.
I just thought about something. Goliaths would be a really cool enemy in like a survival horror game.
Oh God, yeah.
Exactly.
So like you could definitely get some ears perked up in some board meetings if you bring that up.
Yeah, it's getting into the meetings that's the trick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I saw some posts. I think 7 Levels is the developer. They're making a tie-in video game to the MonsterVerse. And I guess it's like hit some roadblocks in developments. They're just like looking for funding again. But one of the details they had in the post was like, oh yeah, it's like a 3D platformer when you're like a human trying to escape the city in the middle of the Hong Kong battle in Godzilla versus Kong. And I saw someone like, man, why couldn't it have been why couldn't we just play as the kaiju? I want to play as the humans. And now here you are saying the exact opposite thing. That's what we like to hear. You're in good company here, Jeremy.
Yep.
But also,
I love games where you play as the monsters, but that's all there is.
Yeah, so, we definitely need more. And I don't know,
like Dawn of the Monsters, it might be one of my favorite games ever at this point because I played it so much. But like a game where you play as a human and you're just trying to survive, that sounds awesome. And I'm kind of surprised no one's made one like that before.
Well, they have.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too with the kaiju.
Yeah, so it never made its way to the U.S., unfortunately. but there's a game called City Shrouded in Shadow. It was by developed by Granzilla, whoever that is, but Bandai Namco is the publisher. It was a survival game. You played as a human in the middle of the city trying to survive a kaiju attack, and it was like
Sweet.
licensed too. They had Ultraman, they had Gamera, they had Evangelion, they had Godzilla, they had a ton of characters, and for whatever reason, it just never made its way here to the U.S. And I will never not be upset about that because it sounds like a great idea.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing this like when it was first announced. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till this comes to the States. And then it never did, and I was very
probably
sad.
because of licensing.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Like they
That's
probably
my
had it
guess.
licensed for Japan, and then like Toho pulled out or something like that. Like,
Yeah. Like I understand it's probably easier to do it like in Japan to get all those characters together, but like in the States is probably a whole different story.
and that's why we need our own kaiju.
Exactly.
I need to make us a design of Nemesis with like a flag, like America's kaiju.
The America's flag. America's kaiju.
Just have Nemesis with the flag in her
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
Just waving it around.
Well, you know that was J.J. Abrams' whole thing when they did Cloverfield. Like, oh, you know, we don't really have an American kaiju. Like, we need to. And of course, Cloverfield didn't really take off. But if Nemesis does, maybe Nemesis can be officially our American kaiju.
Yeah, that's
Man, I wish Cloverfield took off. He was cool.
I know.
And then they ruined the movies.
Yeah, they keep kind of like skirting around Cloverfield, and I like that it's all connected, but I want to kind of get back to the main plot.
Well, I think they are doing.
They're making a sequel.
They're doing
now,
a direct sequel.
Okay.
But I don't think we've heard anything about it other than it's happening. We're making it.
It's in development.
Yeah, that's no story development, nothing whatsoever. All right.
I can check. IMDb Pro.
I don't even know if it has a title. It might just be Untitled Cloverfield sequel at this point.
Might be. I mean, it wasn't even announced that long ago.
It literally is Untitled Cloverfield.
Hey.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's see. So, I mean, it has writer listed. It has a director listed. But his name is Babak Anvari.
Has he actually done anything that I would know? That's the question.
Known for Under the Shadow I Came By and Wounds.
That's a no.
Never heard of any of that. Well, I guess we'll see how it goes.
I guess we'll find
in a
out.
couple years.
Well, the status is filming.
All right, that's progress at least. We know it's actively in development.
Cloverfield used the original used a lot of like unknown actors, so it could be that they're just trying to keep everything and under wraps or whatever.
That's true. That's kind of Cloverfield's whole thing. Just
Or
keep everything under wraps.
Maybe the IMDb page is because we've never heard of the director. Maybe it is the start of an ARG.
I mean, the director does exist, Brian.
I know. I'm just kidding.
He's directed films in the past.
I'm just kidding. I know.
So I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but let's talk sequels. Obviously, sequels depend on sales, and the book isn't even out yet. But a lot of your books in the past have had little almost like post-credit scenes that set up future stories. You know, Hudson and Collins finding Mygo at the end of Project Mygo. I should have looked up the names of these characters before I wrote this question, but I had them in I had it in mind. The mayor and his assistant ? Taking off at the end of Refuge, and that town still being kind of in flux. But this one's a little more open-ended. Like, Nemesis is obviously still out there doing her thing, but there's no like impending threat or anything that we're aware of. So have you, now that you've like stepped back into the universe of Nemesis and the FCP, have the gears like started turning in your head for more stories, or are you still kind of waiting to see how this one does before you worry about that?
Yeah, I generally wait to see before I start thinking about it because it's really annoying to get excited about something and then to have the book come out and then not do well. And then you're like, oh, crap.
Understandable.
Like, I was really excited about this. I mean, I have pretty high expectations for this Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if we could, talk more openly about the TV series stuff, to help boost it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think there's been a lot of Nemesis fans over the last 10 years. So the trick is just letting them all know that it's coming out. And if it does really well, then I'll definitely write more because it's a lot of fun to write. And I really like the characters in that one, which kind of just, I don't even know where Graham came from, but I guess there's a salty old man in me somewhere.
Graham is definitely an interesting fellow, for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned that because now I have to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little taken aback by a specific word choice you used. I had to stop reading and be like, oh, okay.
We'll see if it's the same one that threw the last interviewer.
It might. So I need to ask where the phrase custard launcher came from.
So this goes under one of the Jeremy wrote this in a novel but doesn't remember writing it. I don't, sometimes I'm a very visual thinker.
Okay.
So when I imagine these things, I think, what is the most disgusting way that I could describe this? And that's where phrases like that come from. And then I hear about them later. Sometimes I'll get just a random message on Twitter or something, and it will just be this ridiculous sentence, and I'll laugh at it, and then I'll be like, wait, did I write this? Because it's just horrendous. So that would fall under the Jeremy thought of something gross.
Okay. Yeah, I made an audible noise of disgust when I read it. I'm like, ugh.
You messaged me. I hadn't even gotten to that point in the book yet, and you
I was just like, I need to tell someone about this. I can't stay silent about it.
I was like, that is the most vile description I've ever heard for anything. Oh man, if you were trying to gross us out, then you succeeded.
Yes, I'm always trying to.
So
and gross out my friends who are pretty gross themselves.
So I'm curious, what was that the word choice that the last interviewer had?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. So okay.
No, it was calling the main goal yacht fuckface.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
I thought that was funny.
It's funny. I like that.
All right. So what did I say? I said custard launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Was it launcher or slinger?
It was custard launcher. It's
custard
stuck in my
launcher,
head now. It was like, and I'll be as spoiler free as possible. It was right after they drove out the window on the bike and landed real hard. It was like, oh, I gotta go.
I have it open
launch.
now.
Okay.
I see it. Uh-huh.
All right. Glad we covered that. I wasn't sure how to go into that question with it seeming natural, but thank God it happened.
Oh man.
You've had pretty good segues up until just then.
That was a great segue. What are you talking about?
I don't know how you segue to it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not really a good way to segue.
There's no good way to segue into custard launcher. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. I'm gonna start using that all the time. So
it's gonna be your game handle.
I hope that you're. I'm going from Gold Brian to custard launcher. But
and the funny thing is that would absolutely pass the filters.
It would.
Oh,
it's not
no
vulgar.
parental filter would cut that out.
Yeah. I think most games they only really censor out swears primarily.
You'd be surprised. I mean, way back when I was a young child making my Club Penguin account, my username that I tried to do, because I really liked Lilo and Stitch. So I wanted my username to be something Stitch related, and they were like, no, you can't have that because it has the word tit in it. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. That still happens.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the language. I don't know what they use. The detectors or whatever they have. They just like straight up look for a word that is in their dictionary, and even if it's part of a bigger word, they'll star it out.
Yeah, and in the process, they teach you some new bad words.
Exactly. Well, it's funny. There's this meme that I see circling around. Like it was some MMO that they had, and their username that the person used across like all RPGs was Nasser, Nasser, and the whatever program that the developers used to censor words censored out the ass, which in turn made it look way worse because all you saw was N apostrophe 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 ER. So it's like, oh no, that makes it look way worse.
Bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
They gotta touch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But so I think we're pretty much done with our questions, but I'll ask one more that we also ask all our guests, that because I mentioned it earlier, right at the start actually, we have a segment on our show where we just talk about whatever new kaiju things we've been checking out. And before I let you answer the question, I will add that we are very, very loose with our definition of kaiju and tokusatsu. So it can be like anything monster movie or book or comic, what have you. Like what's something we've really stretched the boundary of that on in the past, Brian?
I mean, last time I said Adventure Time.
Adventure Time is a good example.
But there are giant space gods in that.
So yeah, is there anything you've been checking out recently?
That's a good question. That's a much harder question. Well, I still need to watch Gamera, and I'm looking forward to Godzilla. But what have I watched recently? I've been trying to get my daughter to watch the Godzilla movies with me, but she's still stuck on the DC movies.
Just tell her the Batman versus Godzilla and almost happened, and she'll hopefully go for that.
She's up for anything, but she's a completionist. So it's like she got all the way through everything Marvel. Now
but once you get her started on Godzilla, she'll be stuck on it.
Yeah, Godzilla's tough to be completionist on.
Yeah.
Well, she also struggles with older movies, so I suspect she wouldn't get through the older ones. But yeah, I think the last kaiju related thing, I can't even remember the name of it, but the last kaiju related thing that I really enjoyed was the animated Jet Jaguar and
Singular Point.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was awesome.
Yeah, we both loved Singular Point here too.
Yeah.
I just love the style and everything.
Yeah.
Did you get any of the science stuff in that, or were you just as lost as us?
Maybe, but I definitely remember being lost.
Did you, out of curiosity, did you watch the dub or the sub?
What did I watch? I don't remember. Because I do both.
Yeah, because
I don't remember what I did for that.
I watched it in the original Japanese track first, and then I rewatched it to prepare for the podcast episode we were doing, and I rewatched that in the dub, and I actually found a lot of the science a little more easy to digest when it was in English.
When they dumbed it down for us.
Yeah, when they dumbed it down, probably. So that may have factored into it significantly.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll watch the original first, and if it's like an anime kind of thing, if they're screaming a lot, then I'll put on the translated version, where they tend to not be screaming as much.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do with Attack on Titan. I was just like, I can't take all this screaming.
Yeah, Singular Point was really good though. We had a blast with it.
Yeah,
still holding out hope for a second season.
That was like 2 years ago.
I know, it's weird to think that was 2 years ago.
That was one of our first episodes, actually.
Oh, I think it was.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long ago.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
I mean,
I'm sure I've watched things.
We missed our 2-year anniversary. So.
Yeah, we did miss our 2-year anniversary. I think we were interviewing someone. Oh no, we forgot Donnie, Brian. This is our 5th interview.
Oh, You're right. We
Sorry,
interviewed
Donnie.
That's right.
But yeah, I think he brought up to us. He didn't bring it up. We just stumbled upon it. Like, oh yeah, that was our anniversary like 2 weeks ago. Oops. Oh well.
Whoops.
We'll get it on the third one.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, Brian, if there's anything you want to add, I think that's it for our questions.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Anything you want to ask us?
Dave is a mind thief, and he wrote down all the questions I had. So
I know.
yeah.
I'm just too quick a reader for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not.
I
think I write faster than I read.
See, it's nice for me because like my work, it's really dead and quiet, so like I get so much reading done at work.
That's cool.
So like I'll blow through a book like within maybe 3-4 days if I'm going at a good pace.
Getting paid for it.
Exactly, it's awesome.
My
I was getting paid to read Nemesis. It was great.
My excuse for being slow is that I work and I go to school. So
Yeah, you have an
I don't
excuse.
really have. Yeah, but my day also ends at 3:30 every day, so it's not really an excuse.
Oh, very disappointing.
Yeah.
All
Let me
right.
just dismantle my whole argument.
Yeah. Good job. You did it so we didn't have to. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
All right. Well, Jeremy, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. This was really, really great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
If you ever want to come back on and talk about any movies, feel free.
Yeah, we're always looking for.
It's open.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get news over the winter.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
share.
that would be great. Yeah, I mean,
would be great.
whenever that show comes out, 100% we will be reviewing it on here. Don't you
Oh, yeah.
worry.
Sweet.
I'll let you plug the new book.
All right. So, Nemesis comes out on November 21st, I believe. And you can check it out and pre-order it now at bewareofmonsters.com. And there are links there to get it on Audible and Amazon.
Very nice. And actually, real quick, who's doing the audiobook for it? 'Cause I know in the tribe, as it is on the Facebook group, people are big on the audiobooks
Yes.
for that.
Yeah, it is. Most of my fans have shifted from ebooks to audiobooks. It was like a shift over the last 5 years or so, where I'm not sure why. Maybe it was the pandemic or something, but everyone kind of shifted away from the ebooks. But yeah, so it's being read by R.C. Bray, who does most of my recent books, and he is going to do Graham amazingly.
Oh, very nice.
Because he is a big sassy man too. So
yeah, I haven't heard any of the audiobooks because, like, for me at least, like I know Brian, you like the audiobooks, but for me, I find it way too easy to just zone out and like not pay attention, and then I'll be like, what just happened in like the past hour of listening? But I have heard samples of R.C. Bray's stuff for your other books, and like just imagining him doing Graham, like, oh yeah, that's like perfect.
Yeah, he gets my sense of humor, and he does not shy away from anything with custard or any other horrible thing I come up with. Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely take the audiobook for this one then, just to hear that, the one line.
Yeah. Yeah, and he does bloopers at the end of them too.
Really? Okay, that'll be cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to that audiobook.
All right. Well, I think that'll be it once again, Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
we would love to have you back in the future, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will toss it back over to future David and Brian because we're recording this interview first, and then we'll record all the other stuff probably next week. All right. So
cool.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Awesome.
All right. Hello. Welcome back. I hope you guys.
I hope you liked our interview.
Yeah.
Because we sure did.
We did. We had. If it wasn't like abundantly clear from actually listening to the interview, like we had a blast doing that. Like that was so much fun. I was like, we were like a little bit nervous, but like So I can't. I remember I did mention this to Jeremy, but I can't remember if we had stopped recording or not by that time. But like, we were a little nervous, but like I've been friends with Jeremy on Facebook for a while, and I've been in like the Facebook group he has for like fans of his work. So like it wasn't too weird because I'm like, yeah, I see him posting on Facebook all the time and just chatting with people. So it's like he's just a dude, you know. He's not like he's not like an A-list celebrity. He's just a guy who writes books and he likes kaiju.
It's true.
It's not. It's not, nothing to be afraid of there. So yeah, but it went great. Obviously, it went really really swell, and we had a great time. And once again,
we did.
Thank you so much for coming on, Jeremy. It was delightful. And once again, we are officially bequeathing on you the title of friend of the show. We are so sorry for not doing that to you when we had you on, but we're doing it here.
Bequeathed.
Did you say get bequeathed?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting way of wording it, but okay.
Yeah, it didn't sound that great, to be honest with you.
It really didn't. It sounded more like an insult than anything.
Yeah. Should have thought about that a little harder,
Maybe,
but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Oh, God. But yeah, again, that was a lot of fun. So thank you again, Jeremy. All right. Well,
Yes.
should we move on to our final segment of the show, Brian?
I think we should.
All right. So you teased it earlier. I think you have a new cool kaiju thing you've been checking out. So Brian, what new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now?
Well, I am approximately 3 episodes into Ultraman Season 3. And it's pretty good. It's definitely better than Season 2.
Which is not a high bar, admittedly.
No, it's not, but the animation is like noticeably better.
Right? It's not as stiff. It's not as stiff.
Yeah.
Everything looks more natural movement. It's great.
Yeah. It's it still doesn't look amazing.
Yeah.
If you're already not sold on 3D animation, like this isn't gonna move the needle for you.
Yeah.
I would say that if you're looking for something to move the needle in 3D animation, give up because it's not gonna happen.
Not. No.
I would say like maybe Gamera Rebirth, but specifically the monsters, but like the rest of the show looks pretty bad. So
I know.
like,
So I haven't watched it myself, but I feel I'm pretty sure it's this one, and I'm gonna feel like a dick if it's not, because I know all the anime nerds are gonna jump on me if it's not the case. I think Jujutsu Kaisen uses 3D animation, but they use it sparingly. But it's apparently like really good, like to the point where like you can almost not even tell it's 3D animation is how good it is.
Okay.
But again, I haven't seen it myself. I've just heard as much. I think I've seen like a single clip, but it did look really, really good. So
Gotcha.
I'll say that much.
But yeah, well, anyways, but yeah, so Ultraman Season 3, good so far. I'm definitely interested in the story with Ultraman or Shinjiro. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And he's like kind of all like fucked up and shit.
Yeah, he's
cool.
going through the ringer this season.
He's got his Camp Cretaceous PTSD visions.
He's having some Joker moments.
He is having some Joker moments. But it's good so far. I like it. And I like how they've got Bemular back. I missed him in Season 2.
I know.
He's like such a cool design.
He is. I love Bemular's design.
Yeah, I was confused as to why they didn't really have him do anything in Season 2. I mean, he didn't really do anything in Season 1 either.
No, he was just kind of there. I am curious as to whether or not they're gonna like have because I got spoiled for this in the manga. I won't say anything for your sake, Brian, because they do go into it in the series, but I do wonder if they're gonna like go into like his identity, because I know who he is because I got spoiled for it, and it is a really interesting idea. But I'm curious as to whether they're going to cover that in the anime, because this is, the final season. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But it is his identity is cool. They haven't really like made a big deal out of who he is. I feel they've mentioned it like, oh, who the hell is this guy? But like they haven't like it hasn't been like a central mystery, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Yeah, I feel like if they just if they revealed it now, it wouldn't really do anything for the plot.
Yeah, that's.
I'm hoping they tie it in more later.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see because it like his identity is like kind of interesting and surprising, but I don't know.
Okay. And aside from Ultraman season 3, I finally got around to watching another Gamera movie. I watched Gamera 2: Attack of Legion, and I originally told you, Dave, that I thought it was a little forgettable, but a magical thing happened to me.
Okay.
And I actually slept on it. And after sleeping and thinking about it more, I liked it more. It was kind of creepy, like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bugs were creepy. There was a lot of blood, which was surprising. But Legion was just a cool monster. It was just an enjoyable movie. I don't know. I mean, it's. I still think like compared to Gamera 3,
nothing compares
really,
to Gamera 3.
Not,
Again,
yeah.
I told you this last night. Friend of the show, Jared. I subscribe to his way of thinking, and that his favorite of the Heisei Gamera trilogy is whichever one he's currently watching. And I think that's a very, very good way of putting it because they're all phenomenal in their own right.
Yeah, I think I want to watch this one again because, to be honest with you, I was multitasking a bit. But, like, I don't know. Like, I really liked Gamera 3, and it's just what I think about when I watch these movies.
So I
just want to go watch it again, but I feel like I should watch Gamera 3 and then I should watch this one after.
Mm-hmm. So I can't remember who said it, but last time I watched it, someone mentioned that like it has a lot in common narratively with Shin Godzilla because Advent of Legion is the one that Shinji Higuchi had the most creative input on. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's like really accurate, actually. So if you go watch it again, try and keep that in mind, and maybe the experience will be different for you. I don't know.
Maybe. I think the reason I just didn't hit the same is it's just very normal. It's a very normal kaiju movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense. It's like still good and I enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed Legion like as a monster. But it was just a very like kind of normal, like I feel like it was something I've seen before. But I don't know. Maybe I was just being too hard on it at first. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a hot minute since I watched the trilogy, so
I got bad takes all the time, and later on, if I decide because I fully plan on watching this again, so if I do enjoy it later more, then I will own up to it. I guess. Maybe.
Gotcha.
We'll see.
Report. We'll have you report back for another future segment of what new Kaiju thing.
Yeah, I'm just excited to watch Gamera 3 again. I'm literally thinking about it. Oof. Okay. And I think that's it. I don't think I've been checking anything else out. We're still behind on Blazer.
We are. We're like 4 episodes behind. We got to catch up because everything. Every time a new episode comes out, I see people talking about it on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, this is so fucking cool." I'm like, we're so behind."
And then we get on, and instead of watching something, we play Resident Evil 5.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
hey,
rough.
that had a kaiju the last time we played.
That's true. It is officially at this point a kaiju game, so you know.
Yeah,
it counts. But
I forgot the guy's name.
Irving.
He turns into a big squid. Irving, that's right. Yeah, he turns into an absolutely disgusting squid.
It's pretty gross. It is pretty gross.
It's disgusting.
But,
yeah.
All right. Well, I have kind of just one. I think just one thing, right? It's October, so my ability to watch more kaiju stuff is diminished because I'm focusing on horror for the month. So I don't think
Samesies.
Yeah. Oh no, I watched Crabs. Crabs is a kaiju movie. I didn't expect it to be a kaiju movie when I went into it, but it was a kaiju movie at the very end. There's a big it's about they're mutants. They're mutant horseshoe crabs who go around attacking people and killing people, and then they later find out that, oh, there's a really big mutant crab that we gotta stop. So they literally go into the main character's workshop because he's a nerd and he builds stuff. And we actually called this when we were watching the movie. So the main character is a paraplegic. He can't walk, and we're joking. And so the whole time he's like talking about it, like, oh yeah, I want to build myself a pair of like robotic legs so I can walk. And by the end, he literally builds a giant fucking mech to fight the giant crab. It's hilarious. It's great. The movie, I wouldn't call it a good movie, but it's like, it's fun. It's a fun, funny movie.
Unhinged.
It's very unhinged. It's insanely unhinged. Like, it's the kind of movie you'd want to like be very inebriated for.
Okay.
Again, it's a ton of fun. I love it. I wouldn't say it's great, but I love it. But more than that, I read The Lock by Steve Alton, and we actually mentioned this during the interview, I think. But you mentioned that it took a nosedive for me, which was true. But that was like just a small little hiccup, because from that point on, it was like fantastic. I was shocked because I'm like, there's no way this is written by the same guy who wrote fucking Meg Primal Waters, because this is like a way more mature story than that, because it's incredible. Like, yeah, so it's about the Loch Ness monster, but it's like not really about the Loch Ness monster. Like, Nessie's a big part of the story, but like it's more about the culture surrounding Nessie than Nessie herself, if that makes sense. So the story's about
that.
Yeah, the story's like, so this guy, the main character, his name's Zachary. Like, he grew up in Scotland, but he moved to America because his parents got a divorce, and he hates his dad because he was like a very absentee father. Namely, like on his 9th birthday, he caught his dad sleeping with a 16-year-old girl, which is, not great either. But yeah, he like drowned. He almost drowned in Loch Ness and was saved. And it's revealed later on that, oh, he also got attacked by Nessie during that drowning too. So, but he was like actually dead. But yeah, he has to like go back to Loch Ness because his father's on trial for murder. And it's a lot. It's really cool stuff. There's a lot of like conspiracy stuff. It goes into like the Templars, which is really sick. It's really awesome. I enjoyed the book a lot more than I was expecting to, especially considering how much I hated Meg Primal Waters. But The Lock was a pleasant surprise.
I
really did not like Meg Primal Waters, but The Lock was a pleasant surprise.
It was probably the most fun series of update messages I've ever gotten. Was you reading Meg Primal Waters? I knew you were like in absolute anguish, but I didn't care.
I know, I know, Ryan. But
you should make a new like social account
just for Meg updates.
That's just Dave reads, it's just. And you just put up like random updates of shit you're reading.
I would be down for that, honestly. I mean, I got back into my old Goodreads account that I started back in high school and never touched since then. So I guess that's
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm actually like on top of that now. So, but yeah, The Lock is very, very good. Brian, I think you would actually like it a lot.
Okay.
It seems up your alley.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been checking out. So
I have one thing that's not me.
Oh.
But Sam, our number one fan, is I'm taking her through Evangelion.
Oh yes, you did
So-
mention that. Yeah.
And she likes it. And I am just fucking silently, excitedly waiting for us to get to end of Evangelion so she can see the world end 3 times.
Yeah, I'm very excited to hear what she thinks about that.
Yeah. Because like everyone I've talked to about it, like they have a good grasp on what happens in the show. And then as soon as end of Evangelion happens, they're like, what?
Hmm.
So I'm ready for it.
Very nice. I expect
I'm ready.
updates whenever that happens.
I guess I'll tell our audience that we have a Discord now.
We do.
It's called Talking Toku, and I just realized that the link is probably gone to it on our Instagram page because it was in a story. So after we're done recording here, I will upload a either permanent story with the link, or I will upload a regular post with the link.
I did post on
or both.
Facebook with a permanent link to the server. So if you're on Facebook and not Instagram, you can find the link to it there.
Yeah.
Not many
So
people are
for-
in the server. It's just a couple of us and some former guests. But yeah.
For all the randos, you'll just be in your, everyone
You'll
role.
be there. Yeah.
For people who we have had on the show, you will be given the friend of the show role. And for, I guess, whatever mods end up being, if we're ever big enough to even get them, you get my favorite role, which is r/Godzilla enjoyer.
You're really proud of that title, Brian. You really are.
Really, really proud of it. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. There's nothing really going on here now, but like, if people join, then
Yeah, if you want something to go
then a lot
on in
more
the
will
server,
happen.
we need you to come in. That's how that works.
Yeah, and we're pretty cool, I think. I think we're cool.
I think we're cool.
We play a lot of video games if you want to play something.
Yeah.
Just, be nice and not annoying.
Otherwise,
that's
we'll
our
ban
only
you.
request.
We'll
Yeah,
ban
we
you.
will. I will get Sam to time you out first because she doesn't have the power to ban, and then I'll ban you.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be almost a 2-hour episode, so I'm gonna call it here, y'all.
Yeah.
But I'll do my usual thing, our unofficial segment. This is really just isn't an actual segment at this point. The What's Going On Kaiju United segment. There's actually a pretty decent amount of cool stuff happening over on Kaiju United recently. So Dr. Jeffrey Angles, who is the guy who translated the novelizations for Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again, which I think that book finally came out last week. I'll have to double check because I really want to read that. He gave a bunch of like recommendations on stuff to just in general, just like films and literature that he would like to recommend to people who read Kaiju United. There's some really cool stuff on there, stuff I've like never even heard of. So definitely go check that one out because that's really, really interesting. There's a new episode of Growing Up with Godzilla. Friend of the show, Donnie Winter. Love that guy. Go check that out because it's with Elijah Thomas. There is a review for the Great Yokai War Guardians, which I think the SRS Blu-ray just went up for pre-order, so I gotta remember to grab that before it sells out. And there's also coverage for Kaiju Brooklyn, which was a small convention in Brooklyn, New York. And I read the article. It seemed like it was a really cool convention despite being kind of small. But you know what? It doesn't matter if it's small. I talked about All Monsters Attack. That was pretty small, but it was a blast. I had a great time. So
it's the energy that matters.
Exactly. It's the vibe. It's all about vibes, man. All about vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go check out all of those articles because they're all real cool. And yeah.
I also want to give a late congratulations to Kaiju United. about their 10K site views.
Yes.
So
very much so. Yeah, they passed
great work
10,000
out there,
views.
guys. Holy shit.
Yeah. Congrats. We love you there.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
you know
they've
we
only
did.
been up for like 6 months or something.
I don't even know. I'd have to go back through
They've
our.
got some pretty good traffic. So yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking great work.
Road to 100K is next, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be the show for tonight. Thank you all for listening. Next week is our Halloween special. We'll be covering the third film in the Yokai Monsters trilogy, along with Ghosts. I'm really, really excited because I've loved the first two, and I have no doubt that this third one's going to be phenomenal as well.
If it's anything like the last one, I will be happy.
Yeah, so I think I'm watching that one tomorrow. So I will keep you, Brian, posted on that.
Pretty sure it's on Shudder, so I'll just watch it on Shudder.
Oh, maybe. I mean, it's on Arrow too. Oh no, it is on Arrow. Arrow is the one who did that release. So, and I know you said you have Arrow. So
I do.
Yeah,
I have both.
It's on multiple things. I think it even might be on Tubi because I know Tubi has a lot of Arrow releases. So there's multiple ways to watch it. But yeah, so look forward to that next week as well, our Halloween special. We're not taking. Damn, we had 3 episodes in a row for once. That's so weird. We're so used to doing like one every other week, but it just so happened mostly because we wanted our Halloween special to be out for Halloween, because Halloween's on a fucking Tuesday this year, which is really annoying. But yeah. All right.
Oh well, it is what it is.
Yep. All right. So go follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, but not really Twitter because fuck Twitter. All that talking Toku, you know the drill.
Join our Discord.
Join our Discord server. I think I'll just like continuously put a link in the description for the episodes now. That seems like the smart thing to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we will see you next week for our Halloween special. I hope you're ready to get spooked, because I know I am.
Ooh, spooky.
Sorry, every time we record, I always forget to turn Discord on Do Not Disturb, so I keep getting
Oh.
notifications. I think that was Brian who set that off for me, too.
I messaged you with the express purpose to quietly tell you to turn it to Do Not Disturb.
Why did you think that was going to work, Brian? Why did you think that was going to work?
I don't know. I'm so sorry for interrupting.
The irony is that I actually didn't hear it.
Yeah, you don't hear it, but the recording picks it up because it's recording off my thing, yeah.
Dave always freaks out about it instead of just quietly turning it off. Because like, oh, Discord again.
Because it was, Brian, it was so loud on my end. That's why.
Those Discord pings, I don't know who made them, but they're the loudest things on earth.
You can shut them off.
I've shut almost all of them off. Dave, you should probably do that too.
Shut up. All right.
That's actually interesting. I don't know if mine would show up for you guys. I haven't gotten any yet, so that's good.
All right. God, I don't even know where we left off before that happened.
Something about Nemesis and TV series and yeah.
Well, in that case, I can roll into the next question if you like, because I do have.